Deeper Learning New York, Alisa Berger from the Harvard Deeper Learning Institute. I get the great pleasure to sit down during the lunch hour and have a conversation. And we've got some kind of momentum that we've been talking offline about, synergy. First, I just want to start off session this morning. Opening, we had some students, we set the stage, and then you've got folks in room. What are you talking about? What are you covering? And I know it's your favorite topic, but I'll let you share with everybody.
Yeah, our session is focused, it's called From Seeds to Systems. We are talking about how you create coherence in an organization, how you take your vision and make it something that is alive and livable for everyone in the system. So talking about how you take your vision and make it clear. And then we're talking about what are the leadership moves a leader makes constantly. Coherence is a verb, not a noun. We're constantly creating it. What are the systems and structures that need to be in place? And this is true of schools or districts or states at any level. And then we play a game to sort of test for coherence and identify places of incoherence.
So did they start the game?
We started the game.
And people are feeling like, where are they on the, on the scale of coherence? So you have a wide spectrum of.
We have a wide spectrum. I mean, I think as where we sit, it's not sort of surprising. I think often when students and teachers play the game, they find their systems much less coherent than when leaders play the game, which is the conversation.
All right. Yeah. No, everything's perfect. Everybody understands what's going on. And I think, it's I think right off the bat, right, like leaders have to get to a place where this is not something we're going to do this year and then this is how we're going to do it next year. Like, this is forever work. It's every day. It's a way of showing up as a leader, right? Like to continue to foster coherence, transitions of staff, new staff come in, like what are the leadership moves so that, the folks who are coming in understand your story, where you're at today and how they can be participants in kind of writing next chapters, right?
That's right. I mean, we really talk about how do you make it something that so people can live and you live. So for sure, it's the work all the time for a long period of time. But it's also saying when we have a vision, like New York State's Portrait of a Graduate, what is the actions we want our teachers to make in their classrooms now? So if we think that problem solving is going to be a huge piece of my school's work to getting there, that I name that and we work on it as a staff, but it means every time I'm interacting with a teacher, I'm saying, wow, I am noticing, notice, name, nurture. I am noticing when you do this, you are building problem solving. That's amazing. Hey, other person or student, what did you think about that experience? Oh, it was great. Yeah, let's celebrate that. So it's taking these visions, breaking it down so that people really can own it and use it to drive their behaviors. What does this vision mean to me as a teacher in my classroom every day when I'm thinking about what I'm doing? And then a leader's job is to identify those when they see it and name it and call it out and keep that focus over and over again. That this is the work. The work of deeper learning is the work.
Yep. And so your work at Harvard, previously Deeper Learning Dozen, how long have you been touching that work?
We're going into our 8th year.
Okay. So I'm interested in your perspective, 8 years, right? Using this language, deeper learning. Some noticings, things that have resonated and just been through lines that haven't changed. Evolution in how you're thinking about, talking about, leading. Just again, there are folks here today who signed up to be at DLNY, and this is their first touch point. You've got 8 years. What's your historian view on deeper learning?
Yeah. I mean, so I'll say before joining Harvard, I was a principal of a school that was focused on deeper learning, multiple schools that were focused on deeper learning. So when we came into the work of the Deeper Learning Dozen, which was really about district level support of how to superintendents and their leadership teams increase the number of deeper learning experiences for students and adults in their district.
Right.
That was our goal. And it was really focused on deeper learning. So one thing we've learned over the course of the last 8 years is the instructional vision has not changed, but we are actually focused on systems transformation, that you cannot transform what happens in the classroom without transforming everything around that. So for our superintendents, it's been a shift of, this is not just a pedagogical project, this is a systems transformation project. What the classroom vision looks like has not changed. We are always focused on the definition we use for deeper learning of mastery, identity, creativity, which doesn't really conflict with any of the other deeper learning definitions that are out there. And what we have found has gotten the leaders the most bang for their buck is sort of this focus on coherence, is a focus on symmetry, which is we think simply of symmetry as ensuring the adult experience and the student experience is aligned, as making sure that if I want my students to have deeper learning experiences, my professional development should be devoted to deeper learning, which is 100% true.
Right.
But it is bigger than that. That if you want your kids to feel a sense of a belonging, your adults have to feel a sense of belonging. So how do you create symmetry really throughout your system has been a very powerful, resonating tool. And then we're really moving into a real focus on continuous improvement. That if you're trying to transform, you have to be in some cycle of trying and learning.
Right.
And then, there's been a lot of leadership work about, as you've said, the time focus. Right. It's this, we call it the chew your arm off test. You have to be willing to chew your arm off to create this transformation, or it's not going to work. It's not easy.
I mean, so many things that you're sharing just really connect with this conversation that I'm having it with myself often, but now some people are like maybe joining in the conversation. But it's that idea of that yes, there's this vision of what happens in the classroom, right? And we need to future that and vision that. But unless we make systematic change to this foundation of school, I've seen this work just sit as veneer on top of flawed foundation, which it's not even flawed, right? Like they are agents that push against this work. And you highlighted, right, like the critical nature that it's also, so it's this pedagogy, it's this leadership, it's this human-centric and belonging work, and they're like they have to be all happening at the same time. So as we taper down this quick lunch conversation, that's a lot, right? And then there's the institutions of school that have all of the other things. So we have leaders here who I deeply believe will experience today and tomorrow. Maybe they've come back. Maybe we worked in or touched them in another venue in conference or session, and they're going to say, where the hell do I start? So your advice, having worked with the systems, you have a superintendent. They're ready to go. They're ready to chew their arm off. What are you telling them to do?
I mean, the three things you named, I would say it's the four things you named. The fourth, which is rethinking the grammar of schooling, which is sort of the systems instructors. We start with, it's a relational process of identifying what we call your three-legged stool. Right. What is the big tent that you are, how are you defining deeper learning in your school? What are the three, and it has to be three, things that you want your teachers to do more of? Student agency, critical thinking, problem solving, real world learning,
and pick from the menu, right?
Yeah,
like have at it, right?
But it's a joint. It's not you as a leader saying this is what they are. It's a shared conversation, and then it's a relentless focus on what does that look like in the classroom. Where does it exist in your system? Because I'm sure those practices exist somewhere in your system. Right. identifying them, finding new novel practices that you're going to add.
Right.
And it's not just you, it's trusting your team that as you define this, that your teachers will do that work and you give them the space and the learning to do it.
So Alisa Berger, Harvard Deeper Learning Institute. It is a pleasure to have you here leading sessions with us, being in space. And I'm pretty sure that this is the beginning to some next steps and projects that we're going to be showing up together with. So I'm excited. Awesome.
Thank you so
much for being here.
Thank you so much.